Hey guys, it's Danny, and today I'm going to be giving you guys some breaking leaks and rumors about the upcoming iPhone 14 that is expected to launch in about 9 months now. There have been some pretty cool new leaks and rumors since my last video, and today I'm going to be giving you guys some breaking leaks and rumors about the iPhone 14. So without further ado, let's get right into the new video. So starting off with the design as part of the iPhone 14, this iPhone will have the exact same square design as the last two iPhones I've had, but with a new finish that is going to be titanium. And it's going to be pretty cool to see what we can do, what Apple can do with that, since titanium is a pretty cool metal, and they're going to be making the iPhones out of titanium. Now, in the first leak is that's going to be what's going to happen, and also for the screen, there's going to be no notch. So what that means is that Apple's moving from the notch cutout that supports the Face ID system, they're going to be moving that to under display systems for Face ID. Now, I'm not sure how this will affect Face ID speeds in terms of being under display, since we know under display cameras are usually not that great. But we have to see how good the Face ID is under the display. Could it be slow sometimes? It could have some problems. We'll just have to see what that happens with. But that'd be pretty cool if that could actually happen, since that will mean that we will actually have a hole punch cutout for the selfie camera, and all the depth sensors and all that stuff will be under the display. That will be extremely cool to see, and that'd be actually really nice if that could actually happen, since that means no notch anymore. You'll have just that clean, uninterrupted space of that it would just be filled up with a notch. That will be just filled up with a hole punch cutout, a tiny one in fact. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm not sure how the speeds of Face ID will be affected by that though, and just other stuff for video recording. We'll just have to wait and see. But that'll be still pretty cool to see if that does happen. And it'll be pretty cool to see no notch equals better life. So that's excellent in terms of the display things. As for the regular, this is only for the Pro models that is expected to happen. As for the non-Pro models, which I'm talking about the iPhone 14, this will probably have the notch still. I think that's going to be an experimental feature in the Pros model, since most people don't really buy the Pro models. They just buy the regular 14 or 13 and 13 mini. So this is more like experimental feature, see how good they do. So I think that'll be pretty cool to see what Apple can do. But the 14 mini and the 14 Max that we're going to get a little bit later will probably just have the notch shrunken in size, hopefully a little bit more, and that'll be still pretty cool. So I think that'll be a good step at Apple, getting rid of the notch. Pretty cool. That means we just have a hole punch cutout, and that's about it. No other things. And as for the 14 and 14 Max, they're expected to have at least 90 Hz displays, not 120 Hz, since that will be for the Pro models, but at least some good old 90 Hz that will be a little bit smoother than 60 Hz, which will be excellent in each regard. So I think that this could mean that they'll have just 90 Hz instead of 60, which would be much better than 60 Hz, since 60 Hz isn't at best. 90 is better since it's more smoother, and it'll refresh rate 90 times a second instead of 120 times a second, which the Pros have. So that'll be pretty cool. And we're hoping maybe they'll have OLED displays, no doubt about that. Maybe 1440p, maybe that might be a pretty cool feature, or just a pretty good spec. I don't think that will have 1440p. That's a little bit maybe down the road, but I think it could happen as far as the Pro model. So that's about it for the display. There could be under display Touch ID. We're not really sure now. Apple's working with Qualcomm and making one of those things happen. But that'd be actually pretty cool if that does happen with under display Touch ID, because that would be excellent since people are wearing masks. Unless this version of Face ID allows them to use face masks and only focus on like your eyebrows or your eyes or your type of hair, or however your face thing is. Maybe that'll be pretty cool. And Apple could just have Face ID with the masks on. That'll be much better. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I think they will probably try to do that Face ID with the masks on, or just do in-display Touch ID. That'll be probably only for the Pros. I'll be very shocked if we get that for the 14 model. So that'll be pretty cool. Just to wait and see about that. And as for and also stuff about the design, so you know how the back of the phone is gonna be just flat. So you know how there's camera bumps on the phone, like with the big block cutout. Well, this time there'll be like the camera rings. There'll be the camera ring squares, but instead the whole back in the space between the camera rings will be flush. So it'll be just flat. So just have the camera rings sticking out, just like the camera bump, but the part in between them or like beside them will be just flush. So it'll be pretty cool design. That'll be pretty cool outer change, and we'll just have to wait and see about that. But that'll be pretty cool if that does happen, since it'll mean it'll just be flush, and then it'll have the camera rings, which is pretty cool. So that's actually pretty cool. And speaking of the cameras, the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max are expected to have a 48 megapixel sensor, which is pretty cool, since Apple is already reaching the limits of what they can do with a 12 megapixel sensor, since 12 megapixel sensors have been around for quite some time now, and they're getting kind of old. So Apple really has to step up their game in terms of their megapixel count. So this will be pretty cool. Let's see if what can happen. I'm pretty sure the file size will probably be pretty big, like 12 megabytes of photo, or like 20, I don't know. But hey, that'll be pretty cool. And if we can get higher megapixel counts, and that'll mean better photos, sharper photos, just overall just better dynamic range and all that stuff. That will only apply for the Pro models. As I said before, Apple might still go with 12 megapixel everything cameras on the regular non-Pro model iPhones. But hopefully, let's hope that they can improve the camera megapixel count to 24 on like the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Max. That'll be way better, since that means that will have at least 8 more megapixels instead of just 12. Because 12 is getting kind of old right now. So that'll be pretty cool. Let's hope that could happen, because that'll be pretty cool, since it means we won't have 12 anymore. But also, and for the Pro models only, it's going to be a Pro model only feature probably. They're expecting to have 8K video recording, which is pretty cool, and that could also explain the 2 terabytes of storage that we're expecting to get only on the Pro model, since 8K files are massive. There's like 800 megabytes a minute, stuff like that. So that's gonna be pretty massive. So that's gonna go directly into 2 terabytes of storage. So that'll be pretty cool to see how Apple will manage that. But I think they'll have 2 terabyte models on the iPhones only, and maybe the iPhones that go up to 512 gigabytes will support the 8K just to make much more space. Or we'll just see how Apple manages that. But there's going to be 8K video recording, which will be excellent, since iPhones already have pretty good video recording. That will make them even better. So that's pretty cool. Just to wait and see how Apple manages that. And as for the periscope zoom lens on the Pro models, it's unclear if it will be for this year, for the next year, for the iPhone 14 models, or the iPhone 15, since periscope zoom lenses improve the optical zoom to more reach. That's what Samsung got to 100x. But that'll be pretty cool to see what does happen with it, because Apple gets periscope zoom. That'll be much better, since that'll be better, just overall better quality, and that'll be pretty cool too. So just doing see on the telephoto lens, but 8K video recording, that'll be cool. That'll be great also, and hopefully it's just improved better. It's just specs on the camera, stuff like that. So that's it for the cameras. Nothing really need there. Night mode videos already there. Nothing that we really need. We just need the higher megapixel count and better 8K video recording. And for the regular models, there probably won't be any 8K, because you need 33 megapixels to record 8K, so that probably won't be happening. And just to be clear, there'll be 40 megapixels on everything: the ultra wide, the main, and the telephoto lens. That'll be an upgrade for everything. And if Apple goes for the 24 megapixels on the iPhone 14 regular non-Pro model, so it'll be 24 main, 24 ultra wide. There might be a LiDAR scanner on the regular non-Pro iPhones, which would be pretty cool. But I don't think that will happen. But that'll be pretty cool if they can manage to make that happen. Of course, there will be an A16 Bionic chip inside of there, just to make it just speedy, and it'll go on a 4nm or 3nm processor chip, so that'll be much better. And Apple has to really step up their game, since Qualcomm released their Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, really weird name, 8 Gen 1. It's very weird name, and that actually does some competition with the Apple's A15 chip. And also MediaTek has released a MediaTek 9000 chip. I think that's what it's called, 90,000. I don't really know. But that's also a very powerful chip, it is said. And so Apple needs to step up their game on the iPhone 14 Pro to improve their chips. So there already be Tensor chip that's already, they blew it out of the water. They beat the Snapdragon 888. But they now need to focus on these chips, because that will be extremely hard to beat. So Apple will expect pretty good on the performance side. And so I'm not too worried about the performance side about the iPhones, but that would be pretty cool if that could happen, since it will mean better range and just better connectivity. And there's also rumored to be Wi-Fi 6E, which is better than Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 6E is a step up, and there's also expected to be satellite connectivity. So that means you don't need cellular data, which I don't think they will do it, but that would help on cellular data. And if you're in the woods or just somewhere and you need cellular data to call somebody gets hurt, something like that, that would be excellent if that could happen, since connectivity for satellite connectivity, that means much more better for long range calls, stuff like that. That'd be much better. But still, that will only be for the wood only, when you don't have any cellular data at all. Also, when I search cellular data, so Wi-Fi 6E is still probably rumored. That'll be pretty cool. 2 terabytes of storage probably will happen for that 8K, and there's gonna be in-display Touch ID. As I said before, that'll be pretty cool if that does happen, but I doubt it. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. Go subscribe to my Instagram account. It's right there, Sarah Junger _78. I just got the Beats Studio 3. Where are they? They're over there in my bed. I will review them in about 4 more days. 4 more days of testing. They're great. So you were looking to buy that, I got them for $122. They're pretty good, and the sound is actually pretty good. I'm no audiophile myself, so I don't really know much about the highs and the mids, but they sound really good. Want to go watch the review? It'll be up in about 4 days, and then I got some Asus monitor review coming up. A pretty good monitor. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video.